How does this hunk of plastic from 1982 still find relevance today? Bite your tongue. It seems you guys want more Masters of the Universe, and more specifically, He-Man. Fine, I can do that, and you're gonna like it. For the uninitiated, those who need a reminder, and those who fancy themselves an expert, let's get you up to speed with an irreverent look at the basics on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Up next. Of all the fond memories I compiled during my childhood in the 1980s, everything pales in comparison to the excitement and happiness I received from opening up a brand new He-Man toy. For example, one time my mom hit 4 out of the 6 lotto numbers and won $150, and I stopped smiling 10 minutes later. When the New York Mets won the 1986 World Series, I danced like an extra in a B-52's music video for an entire weekend. But that Monday I went back to school and it was business as usual. When two of my classmates in elementary school showed me the LaToya Jackson issue of Playboy, and I saw my first naked lady ever, it was pretty sweet. But 3 weeks later, I was ready for my second naked lady. But I can tell you without a shred of hesitation in my voice that when I got the Bashosaurus Masters of the Universe vehicle with a levered stone mechanism for crushing villains at my 6th birthday party for my cousin Robbie, I didn't come down from that high for almost 7 months. And then I got the Fright Fighter, and it started all over again. Welcome back to PopCon, everybody. A salute to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. I am your Generation 1 or G1 host, Victor, and He-Man is in a very elite club. He is part of my sensational 6 of 80s franchises that I love and grew up with. And we have a special treat for you today. We're going to really get into this topic in the most irreverent way possible. And since the YouTube algorithm is all about this blonde behemoth right now, I'm in for it. What about you? Walk up to any man between the ages of 38 and 39 and whisper the words, "By the power of Grayskull," and into his ear, and I'll bet dollars to donuts he'll turn around and scream, "I have the power," as loud as humanly possible. He-Man was that influential. He's in every guy's bloodstream, right next to the platelets that force us to leave the toilet seat up and hate Lifetime movies. You have the power indeed, He-Man. If you don't own this book, it's a must-have for any 80s toy fan. Topped off with a Trapper Keeper style cover, this Bible of the most popular 80s franchises ever has brought me sources of joy and inspiration for years. Don't know what a Trapper Keeper is? A binder, a folder from school, covered in scratch and sniff stickers? Look it up. Alright, time to get serious here. If you're like me and love 80s toys, 80s franchises, 80s pop culture, and pop culture in general, then subscribe to my channel right now. Press that button. I'll wait. While you're there, press the alert as well so you know all the times I bring up this awesome content. Honestly, my content's got better production value than a lot of channels out there, and I've got a lot more stuff to bring to you. So after the video, share, like, comment, but right now, subscribe. On with the show. This is where today's story comes from. Just Can't Get Enough by Jensen Camp and Matt Robinson. It's a perfect way to introduce a legendary franchise and iconic characters to both the oblivious and the superfan, whatever that means. Are you guys ready for a good story? All right, boys and girls, here we go with the story. On the painfully dorky Prince Adam's 18th birthday, a mysterious female named the Sorceress decided Adam was the man his hometown of Eternia was waiting for the first man deemed courageous enough to enter the mythological Castle Grayskull. Ooh. Adam was then told he was the sole source of protection to save Eternia against Skeletor, a demon from another dimension. Prince Adam was given the Sword of Power and told that by raising it high above his head and screaming, "By the power of Grayskull," he would transform into an alter ego, He-Man, a warrior who, funny enough, looked exactly like Prince Adam. So giving hope to nerds everywhere, Prince Adam became He-Man, the secret defender of Eternia and the man with the most redundant name in the universe. I guess Dude Guy was already taken. Alright, now for some facts. What is it? Hands down, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was the biggest line of action figures marketed to boys in the 80s. When was it out? The He-Man toys came out in 1982, while the cartoon debuted in 1983. Who made it? Mattel produced the toys and created the brand, while Filmation produced the animated TV show. Who was it for? The box is stated for ages 3 to 6 or older, but there was a large emphasis on older. Mostly boys played with them, but we've known many girls who have admitted to collecting and loving He-Man as well. Is it still around today? You bet. The classic Masters of the Universe toys lasted from 1982 to 1987, while the new adventures of He-Man toys were created in 1990 and 91. Another Masters of the Universe line was rekindled in 2002, which commemorated the brand's 20th anniversary. After that was Masters of the Universe Classics line, and now the current toy line Masters of the Universe Origins. With the Kevin Smith TV show on Netflix, Masters of the Universe Revelations, we have another toy line concurrently running, so just basically it's in for the long haul. Let's continue, shall we? Conan the Barbarian always seemed a little creepy, and the think tank at Mattel seemed to agree. Back in 1982, Mattel planned on releasing a toy based on the forthcoming movie Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. But those plans were quickly scrapped when the film was slapped with an R rating. But really, what did Mattel expect? Conan the Barbarian was written by John Milius, who helped write Apocalypse Now, and a young Oliver Stone, only 1 year before he penned Scarface. The movie featured brutal murder, slavery, graphic sexual imagery, Schwarzenegger in his bad boy happy hands days, and was about as child-friendly as John Wayne Gacy. But Mattel, not wanting to throw away all their work, simply altered a few of their core elements from their Conan toy prototypes, such as switching the hero's hair to an all-American blonde mop top, and voila, an instant favorite toy line. And that's how He-Man was conceived. The overwhelming success of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toy line was undeniable. He-Man's popularity grew at an unbelievable speed, both nationally and globally, even becoming one of France's most popular action figures, where it was dubbed Musculor. He wore a beret, smoked cigarettes, and talked about the cinema. No, not really. It was about that time that Mattel approached Filmation, the same company that produced the television commercials for Modu Toys, about producing a syndicated cartoon based on the He-Man universe. Mattel envisioned the cartoon as the perfect avenue for advertising their toy line. This inevitably led to numerous parent complaints, as well as concerns from the Television Commission regarding the ethics of commercials disguising themselves as animated television shows. In Britain, Mattel was even barred from airing their toy commercials during the cartoon. Let's check out a couple memorable characters. Stinkor. Stinker was a fan-favorite villain, mostly because the toy actually smelled like a skunk due to a chemical treatment put on the figure. His superhuman power was supposedly a toxic fume that could freeze foes dead in their tracks. Finally, a toy you could blame your farts on. Teela. Practically Prince Adam's sister and definitely his closest friend, Teela was the adopted daughter of Man-at-Arms. In the episode Teela's Quest, we found out that the sorceress was actually Teela's mother. What is this, Days of Our Lives? Less talk, more rock. You knew you were a serious fan if you had both the Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain playsets. Two of the most elaborate and inventive playsets of the 80s were both parts of the Masters of the Universe toy line. The first groundbreaking beauty was Castle Grayskull, released in 1982, and the second sacred setup was Snake Mountain, first seen in 1984. The incredible intricacies and hiding places found within these playsets were ideal for displaying action figures and setting up strategies for battle. Castle Grayskull was the first to feature the front door drawbridge and the unforgettable trapdoor. This playset also gave you the ability to close the set as hinges, like a book, and walk around your school like you were carrying an important briefcase. Because you were, duh. Snake Mountain saw Castle Grayskull's bet and raised it a few chips. Snake Mountain not only had the briefcase-like storage and the trapdoor, this time triggered by a humongous pivoting snake, but it included a net for the victim to fall into. This Snake Mountain playset also had a built-in voice-distorting microphone, which children could yell into and command the action figures into battle with Skeletor's voice.
Masters of the Universe.
Or just use it to annoy the hell out of their parents. At the time, the addition of the microphone seemed so technologically advanced, I figured we were minutes away from time travel. And now reminiscing about these playsets, I wish I had been right. I love this story, and I hope you did too. And don't get me started on that 1987 live-action movie starring Dolph Lundgren, but it's all in here, and a bunch of other stuff in the chapter I didn't cover. Now remember, a lot of today's content came directly out of this book, a 1980s toy fan guide to the best intellectual properties ever. So, I just can't get enough, and I bet you can't either. This was just a little catch-up on the entire universe before Netflix debuts its animated cartoon at the end of this week. So if you haven't already, press subscribe, and share, comment, and like this video. There'll be a lot more coming. Until next time.
Get away from her.